Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello people and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. Welcome to the beginning of the summer. Welcome to the beginning of the transfer news. And Mo, what's your source? Staffy, who's your source? Are you an ITK? Welcome to a summer full of news, full of transfers, of course. And I'm happy that at the first show of the summer starting with my brother, Staffy TV is here with us, of course, people. Big up, my man.
So you kicked off the summer with me. Okay, I'll take that as a
first show.
I'll take that as a compliment. You know what, guys? Mo said new season, new me. Who can I start with? And he got New Jersey's finest. You know what? We rate it, Mo. We rate it. Big up to you. Big up to the chat.
Big up my Egyptian guy.
Yeah. Speaking of Egyptian, I went to Lahwa yesterday. Yeah. Went to Lahwa last night. And
watched the game?
No, like later in the day. So I go and I sat at this one table because you know when you go to Lahwa too much, you know everyone. So I sat at this one table and this guy goes, "Slot ibn al-Wasakha mash." That's the first thing he mentioned, bro. It was slut. All the Egyptians were celebrating that slut left. Wallahi, Mo, I'm not even joking. I went to my mom's house, my parents' house, and wallahi azim, my mom knew that slut got sacked. I did not know how. My mom doesn't watch football. Yeah, and she was like, "Slut mash." It's like, how the fuck do you know that?
This is
you get the news?
Yeah, hit that like button, people. This is what we're going to talk about today. Of course, we're talking about the Arsenal loss yesterday against PSG and the agenda against Arsenal and the banter against Arsenal yesterday, which is a little bit of, it was too much. But also Morgan Rogers and David Ornstein talking about that. Rafael Leao to Manchester United. Iraola, it looks like it's going to be done for Liverpool because it looks like Luis Enrique is staying. It looks like so. Iraola to Liverpool. Where does that take Liverpool in comparison to Manchester United? We'll talk about this as well. We'll talk about Xabi Alonso at Chelsea. They are targeting a lot of players, of course, but they are selling Enzo Fernández to Manchester City. Where is Manchester City with Maresca? Where do they rank? Are Arsenal next season outright favorites or anybody else? After yesterday, a lot of people have changed their minds, actually. About after yesterday, that Arsenal aren't going to retain the title. They aren't favorites. They aren't winning the league. I had some people commenting on my videos yesterday saying that how did we let this Arsenal team win the Premier League? I don't think they're going to win it next season. So we'll talk about all of this as well. So hit the like button, guys. You got 300 people in the house and we're just starting the show. So let's get the likes up to 200. Every like counts, of course. And also Staffy TV is going to be in the description. So go and support, of course. And let's start by Fonzie. Pick up Fonzie. Man like Julian on AFTV said that they lost because it was too hot. North London forever, whatever the weather, unless there is rain, sweat, heat, and cold. The problem, Fonzie, is that a lot of people take Arsenal fans as like Julian, for example. One of the people that I'm happy Arsenal lost for is Julian. I'm sad for some of my friends, but this guy, I'm happy that he's upset, to be honest with you. I'm happy that he's upset. Now, we'll talk about, we'll start with the Champions League final yesterday. Quickly, do you think the better team won, or do you think the game was 50-50?
These are two different questions. Did the better team win? Absolutely. Was the game 50-50? In a way, you can say it was. I mean, it ended 1-1. So that's the actual proof that it was 50-50 because it went to penalties. But yeah, the better team won.
So can I ask you, football-wise, why do people associate? This is me, okay? Being Egyptian, okay? Knowing Gohari, knowing Hassan Shahata, being an Italian fan, like an Italian football fan, being an Inter fan, right? I don't associate football with one way of playing. So for someone to tell me that yesterday only one team played football, you are associating football with one way of playing, while the two, until like 10 years ago, two of the most successful nations in the world were Brazil with 5 World Cups and Italy with 4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So one is a very attacking style of play, one is defensive style of play. People were talking about AC Milan back in the days, the red and black wall. You know what I mean? I don't know why people associate the word football with one way of playing. Like, oh, only PSG played football. I actually think there is art in defending. Is it entertaining? we're going to come to the entertaining part about Arsenal, which is me and you agree that the Arsenal attack is like you can defend. When Inter were defending, and just the last thing, that when Inter were defending, we had Eto'o, Milito, Wesley Schneider, Goran Pandev going forward. There was people that do stuff. When Chelsea used to defend, they had attackers that do something out of nothing. I think the problem with Arsenal is that people, because they see Arsenal defend, they're like, you don't want to play football. But I think Arteta is limited by the attackers he has. You're not going to tell me that Eucharist is going to do what Milito did to Van Boyten, for example.
That's fair.
You're
fair.
not going to tell me that Odegaard is going to do what Schneider did against Barcelona, against Bayern Munich. And also Bukayo Saka himself, with all due respect, for the last 2 years, for one reason or the other, which is injuries or others, he hasn't lived up. So no Arsenal attacker is capable of doing anything. So the last statement I'm saying, Arteta is doing العرقة تغدل برجل حمار, which is basically Arteta is working with what he has. This is what he can do. All he can do is to give the ball to Saka and hope for the best. If Saka doesn't dribble, well, he can't do anything about it.
Okay, so you said a lot of things, and I agree with a lot of them. Let's just establish this before we start, because you're not a low IQ person, which is why I'm happy I'm doing the show with you. We're going to agree from now on that there's a lot of things that can be true at the same time. Can we both agree on this? So there's so many statements that you made. Yeah, so two things can be right at the same time. Now, let's go back to the first thing you said, which is you mentioned how teams can play different styles. Yeah, football's not played in one way. That is correct. I think what people are speaking about the most, though, is that I don't think outside of defending yesterday, Arsenal really had any intent to do anything going forward. Whether they're capable of or not, we'll get into that. We'll touch on that.
I disagree. Can we start with that? I disagree. They had intent, they failed.
I'll tell you why. First of all, they scored very early, and I think that worked in their benefit. I think if Arteta would have wrote a dream scenario, it would have been to score that early. And that happened for him. By hook or by crook, it's fine, because people were like, oh, but they were very lucky. It was a deflection. Kai Havertz. I get all that. I do think there's a huge element of luck in that goal. That is correct. But literally from the 6th minute, you basically had everyone behind the ball. They were defending very well. I do think that Arteta, at least for the first 45 minutes, I do think he outcoached Enrique. I said it in the group chats. I believe I tweeted that as well. I've said it to everyone I was speaking to. So for the first 45 minutes, Arteta did outcoach Enrique. But let's be honest, Mo. At some point, when you're facing the team that scored the most goals in the competition, you're expecting somehow, some way, some shape, some form, they're going to score a goal. And fair play to them, in the beginning of the second half, they started, opening up a little bit more, started being a little bit more active on the left-hand side. And I think that penalty wasn't as fluky as a lot of people were talking about, because they're like, oh, outside a Mosquera mistake, they would have conceded. Well, look at the position that Kvaratskhelia was in. Like that 1-2 for him to get behind the defense. That 1-2,
they tried to do it multiple times and it didn't work.
But it worked at that point, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So let's not talk about it like it was a fluke. It was a good attack that led to a penalty. Because if he doesn't foul him and give away the penalty there, I don't know what happens. But regardless, you've basically been behind the ball since the 6th minute, and this is where the conversation. I want to have a real conversation now, Mo, because me and you can agree that this is what Arteta, the only thing he could have done. Because we're looking at the quality of the teams, and you're like, arguably, this is the best game plan to put out there. Rather, the fact that they lost doesn't dismiss that the plan was working, okay? Because it still went to penalties.
I thought it was working, because I think Arsenal created the most dangerous chances.
I don't know if they created the most dangerous.
No, hold on. I'll take it back. When Arsenal were defending deeper, Arsenal had the chances to actually kill off the game. PSG only got their chances, which is the Barcola one behind, the Hakimi one behind, when Arsenal opened up.
Because they conceded,
at the end of the game. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
At the end. And people need to go and check. Havertz had a chance to actually kill off the game. Right? And that was the clearest chance in the game. They looked vulnerable a little bit. Yes.
But here's what I want to talk about, Mo. I think the biggest red flag that I've seen yesterday is that leading up to this game, these are some of the things the Arsenal fans were saying. They were reminding us that they finished first in the Champions League, which they did. They were talking about the quality of their team. They were generally having conversations about how good this team is, and rightfully so, because you reached the final. But once you reach the final, I felt like there was a mentality that we're like, oh, but what did you guys expect us to do? We're playing this great PSG team that did this and did that. And it's just like all of a sudden it kind of turned into like, it gave me Burnley vibes, where like, I'm such a small team compared to the other team. What else did you expect me to do? But like, that wasn't the conversations we were having reaching to that final, because they were talking about finishing first. So it's like, how are you going to talk about, I was first in the Champions League, I've been the best team in the Champions League, and then you reach the final, but all of a sudden there was that underdog mentality. The underdog mentality might have been true, because I do think the PSG team is better. But then we need to now have honest conversations about the quality. Because if Arteta only thinks he can play that way against this team, that means there's a gulf in quality. But I think a lot of fans are not willing to admit that. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah. Fair statement. A lot of Arsenal fans now only are admitting what I have been saying all season. I've been saying all season, there is a massive lacking quality in the Arsenal attack. Massive lacking quality. And if Saka doesn't perform, with all due respect to everyone, nothing happens. It's a flash in the pan. Like, Eucharist might do something out of nothing, Havertz, Trossard, but it's not sustainable quality that you can rely on to build an attack. Like even Eze, for example, Eze will have that flash, but Eze hasn't shown the consistency that he's shown at Crystal. Eze, last season at Crystal Palace, every attack for Crystal Palace, you would see one thing. You would see Eze getting the ball, things are happening. Things are happening. Now it's a flash in the pan. And I actually think that Arteta, his players aren't good enough. Let me give you an example in PSG. Even though Desiree Doué didn't do a lot and Kvaratskhelia didn't do a lot, but Luis Enrique can build a plan, and I played football and I coach football and I know what I'm talking about exactly. The quality on the wingers of Kvaratskhelia and Desiree Doué can have Luis Enrique build a whole plan on, you know what, guys? We're going to pass the ball around until we create a Desiree Doué isolation with a fullback or a Kvaratskhelia isolation. Because he knows there is a sustainable quality there that every time they get the ball, they're going to try and make things happen. I think Arsenal don't have that quality. Apart from Saka 2 years ago. When every time
I don't think he's been the player for a while. I agree with you. And listen, I saw him getting cooked yesterday for his stat. And that is an abysmal stat, I'll be honest with you. He completed 4 passes in, 60 minutes or 70 minutes of football that he played? Yeah. But I will be honest with you. That was my first response when I saw this. I said, but that's all he could have done with the plan that was given anyways.
No, because Saka yesterday had chances to get past he didn't.
Okay, so hear me out. And that's fine. I'd like for you to argue that back. But here's how I looked at it. I think for the plan that was given to Saka, I think he done what exactly he's been asked to do, which is track back and double the winger. Is that the job that you want from Saka? Ideally not, no. But for what the plan was from Arteta for him, I think he's done what he was asked to do. Because as long as he was there, Kvaratskhelia was really doing nothing, bro. Like, I kept saying, if Mendes doesn't overlap and overload that side and do something, I don't think they're going to create anything. And to be fair, Mendes, if you remember in the first half, the first dangerous chance that came from PSG came from his side, where he drove past Mosquera, he put the ball in the box, and I can't remember who cleared it, and I think it went to a corner. Yeah. But that was the only time the fullback drove and kind of created that overlap. Other than that, it was always Saka and Mosquera. And Kvaratskhelia, let's be honest, bar that minute, him, Dembele, and probably Doué,
Luiz, non-existent.
There's an argument that this is probably their worst game of the season. Let's just be real. They won, but you can win while playing bad. Let's not dismiss that you can play bad and still win the game, or you can play good and lose the game.
Of course.
I thought that was their worst game for one reason or another. So I think for what Saka was asked to do, he did it perfectly. The issue is, and this is what the one issue I have with the Arteta, and maybe we can expand this conversation they hear right now. And this is when I think Arsenal fans need to be a little bit more honest. We all love to love our players. We all love to big up our players. We all love to pretend that our players are the best players in the world.
I don't like
Let's be really honest.
I don't like this, bro.
I don't do it with my team. You don't do it with your team. Let's not do it. And please, everyone take off your bias hat right now. I'm not talking as a United fan. I'm just talking as a football fan. I look at this Arsenal team, and I feel like as much as they were limited, and you said Arteta knows this is the capability of this team, but let's be honest, Mo, if you switch one of the attackers from PSG, just one, just pick any of the three, and you put them on the Arsenal team, would you say that maybe they had a better chance to having an outlet yesterday to when they did all that defending and won the ball back?
Just
they can use that player.
Do it yesterday, and instead of Trossard. That's it.
If it was Kvaratskhelia or Dembele or Doué, I think any of the three.
I'm giving an example. Here is what Arsenal fans will tell you. Arsenal fans will tell you, and maybe that's a true statement. They will tell you, but if we have Doué, we wouldn't have been solid defensively because Trossard covers a lot of ground defensively.
I don't agree with that. I feel like I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't like these statements sometimes that certain players wouldn't be good in a team because they're defensively good, and maybe if you put an attacker who likes the free roam, they would be out of shape. I don't know if Arteta, if he signs some of these good players that we're talking about right now, the attackers, I should say, and he puts them in that team, he wouldn't teach them defensive discipline. He wouldn't teach them how to play in the shape.
He would.
I feel like I've always seen them. Look at Dembele. Look at the difference. You know what? This is a great conversation. Look at the difference between Dembele and Mbappe. Mbappe, a lot of people thought 2 years ago, he's clear of Dembele, right? I think it was fair to say it 2 years ago. He gets shifted. Dembele becomes the main guy. He's the one that starts to press. He keeps the shape. He goes on to win 2 Champions Leagues and a Ballon d'Or. Now, 2 years ago, if I would have told you that's what Enrique was going to do, a lot of people would have said, no, you're crazy. Dembele probably doesn't defend, nothing is going to happen. How can Enrique teach these 3 attackers that we just mentioned to press and maintain a good shape of the ball? But now we're saying Arteta wouldn't do it. And we'd all probably say Arteta's a better defensive coach.
Yeah, but not only this, there's another aspect of the game that people don't understand. The technical ability of the PSG players are just higher. They turn quicker. They are more athletic. And by the way, it's not only they're athletic. Desiree Doué yesterday, he's so physical.
Yeah, right? That's why he's the only one that didn't get subbed.
Bro, the guy's arms and size, bro, the guy can use his body. Why? Because he's physically strong. Kvaratskhelia is physically very strong. I actually think that Arsenal, if they want to move to the next level, they need different attackers, and they need higher quality attackers than what they have now. Much higher quality attackers. And I'm going to have this, and people are, as we've spoken about Foden and Cole Palmer, we have to have the conversation about Bukayo Saka. What I mean by this conversation is, you cannot keep saying that Bukayo Saka is going to go back to his best and rely on this. You are now a team, let's say, on top of the world. You are won the Premier League, you reach a Champions League final, right? You cannot say, I'm going to hope next season that Saka comes back to his best. Man United tried to do this with Rashford. Oh, we hope that Rashford gets back. We hope that Martial gets back. Arsenal did it with Martinelli. You can't do this. You can't. Bukayo Saka hasn't been performing up to the level of Arsenal now. And I'm going to say this. The current version of Bukayo Saka, right? I'm going to say this and people are going to absolutely hate me for it. Not only Bukayo Saka, I'm not singling out Bukayo Saka. The current level of Arsenal, where they are in stature in the world, winning the Premier League, having a Mikel Arteta, reaching Champions League final, semi-final last year, you surpass the quality of the attackers you have. You need to move past these attackers.
I agree.
You now win up a level that you need better play. Your defender stepped up, your goalkeeper stepped up to be the best in the world. You cannot have an attacking line that is including Odegaard. Arsenal surpassed Martin Odegaard's lack of physicality and softness.
Outgrew. That's the better term. Outgrew.
Yes, you outgrew them, right? 100%. If Saka isn't gonna go back to his best, there must be a competition. Because I know that people love their players. You know what I mean? I know people love their players. You know, I said this, people that think it's an agenda. I said this about Inter. I said, it was good when we won the league with these players, right? But once we got to a Champions League final, once we won the league, once we are starting to look a little bit more, we got to the revenue now of higher money, right? We outgrew some of our players. We shouldn't be, and I was so upset with some of the Inter fans that are so attached to players. And I'm like, I'm sorry. We outgrew these players. They were good when we were trying to get to a Champions League, when we were trying to even challenge. And Arsenal, need to move past the Martinellis and the Trossard and the Odegaard. You need to move past that. You need higher. You need to be competing with the best of the best of the best, right? You cannot stay in the same lane. That is for the attack. Saka, star boy, and the problem is people. Yes, he's an Arsenal player through and through and everything, but so was Flanagan for Liverpool. So was every player. Once you outgrow your player and the player can't go back to their best, you have to think past that. And I'm not saying sell Saka, but you cannot rest on your laurels. You can't, right? Is that the right term?
Yeah, I agree with you. And this is why, like, when you think about it, Mo, this is why the people who run decisions in the club, they're not running it from an emotional stance, because we're all emotionally attached to players. You have to be a little bit more rational. As you said, you reach a point where you outgrow some players. I think yesterday, when you look at the game and you see, and this is why I was commenting in your chat yesterday, and some people, I don't know, they just didn't want to understand what I was talking about. When Olu mentioned Chelsea in 2012, to me, that is an insult to the Arsenal team that was on the pitch yesterday, and I'll tell you why. That Chelsea team in 2012 was a complete underdog. We all knew that they were punching way above their weight. They should have never been in a Champions League final. We all know how they got into Champions League final, and it was an exceptional story. But let's remember this, and this is why I mentioned where they were. They were sixth. When I said that, and Olo said,
and they
"What's
sacked
the
their
point?"
coach and Di Matteo, like
Matteo got sacked literally a couple months after. Yeah,
it wasn't nothing there. Team, yeah.
It was a team mode that finished sixth in the league. It was quite literally a fluke of a Champions League. If you want to compare this Arsenal team correctly, you go and compare them to teams that reached the Champions League final, English teams, sorry, that reached the Champions League final, but they were winners of the Premier League. So let's do this. Are they as good as the Liverpool teams that reached those three Champions Leagues? Because they were finishing first or second with City. Same thing as City, comparing to the City that won the Champions League and the one that lost, the Chelsea in the Champions League. Those are the correct comparisons you should make, because you finished first in the league. So you're not sixth in my league. You're not an underdog. You're not a Cinderella story reaching this Champions League final. You are someone that deservedly reached the Champions League final. Yeah, but you played statistically, when they were mentioning possession, and I know there's more than possession when it comes to stats. They've had the lowest possession in a game since Arsenal 2006.
No, but
the team had a red card, Mo, so I can't even fairly compare.
But I have to stop you here. Because
what are you disagreeing with?
I think I'm gonna disagree with. I should not criticize Arsenal for the position. I'm gonna give you a stat, and I know you're a logical person, and that will change your mind completely.
Sure, go ahead.
Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain. Enrique, the attacking coach, had 27% ball position against Bayern Munich just because he was leading.
But exactly, Mo. They went into the whole game knowing the plan from the beginning is that they were leading.
But you don't know that. You don't know this.
They were up from the first leg.
But Arsenal, okay, but you don't know that if Arsenal's plan was to do this, because Arsenal went home.
Sure, you know what? That's a fair point.
You cannot assume that Arteta, his game plan, why? It's to sit deep. Because if you watch the first 5 minutes, just the first 5 minutes of Arsenal PSG, Odegaard was pressing the goalkeeper.
No, I agree. That's a fair point. They were pressing with like 4 players. I think their shape, and that's why I said earlier, their shape, especially in the first half.
So let me say this for the people that assume, so people to understand because Staffy understood exactly what I was about to say before I said it. People that said the Arsenal plan was to defend, right? You're assuming, because Arsenal started defending after they went 1-0 up, and Luis Enrique against Bayern Munich defended when he was up. I'm not going to assume that Arteta went to the game. He was defending. Why? Because in the first 5 minutes, I saw Hincapia running all the way to Hakimi.
Right? I think that's a fair point to make. But it also now goes against our earlier point, is that we were talking about the quality of the teams anyways. And according to the quality, a lot of people thought quality for quality, especially the attack, it would make more sense for Arsenal to defend anyways. So we have to pick a narrative that we believe in and go by that one. Because there's 2 opposing narratives right now. Is it because they scored early, or is it because we think there's a difference in quality? And we have to choose one. I think it could be a mixture of both.
It can be a mixture, but Arsenal last season in the Champions League semi-final were pressing, created a lot of chances. Donnarumma had the game of his life. I actually think that Arteta was planning to press and players. Arsenal, in the first 5 minutes, Arsenal playing a high line. And I mean a high line. If people
They were
don't
playing
believe me,
4-2-4, Mo. Literally 4-2-4.
yeah.
It was two
If you don't
midfielders, and
believe me-
Odegaard was pressing next to Havertz.
and the
I
back
agree.
line was standing 5-10 yards behind the halfway line. If people don't believe me, go watch the first 5 minutes before Arsenal score. Even the commentators were saying that Arsenal are pressing PSG goalkeeper, and I know, and people that watch the game, Arsenal were targeting one player on the ball, Pacho. Every time they got the ball to Pacho, they forced Pacho to play long. That's why every ball that went long, it was a contest between Saliba. So I'm not gonna sit here and assume that Arteta's plan was to sit deep. And also to prove me correct about this, because I want to have an objective conversation about this. PSG had a lot of spaces to run into in the last 20 minutes because Arsenal, once it went to 1-1,
once they opened up, yeah. I agree.
This is why people in the media lie. People in the media and the narratives lie. How is Barcola had a 2 1-on-1s from the left, right? If Arsenal were doing a low block,
but you're right, because it was after the goal. You're actually right.
But people ran. The problem is people ran the agenda that Arsenal were defending even at 1-1. That's not true, because PSG had way more spaces after 1-1 than Arsenal had. Saka was getting blocked by 2 players, and I'm not saying that Arsenal had more possession. My criticism of Arsenal yesterday goes in the last 25 minutes.
I agree, especially extra time. I felt like they should have made it more competitive in extra time.
It's not only the quality. Number one, Martinelli can't pass, can't dribble, can't shoot, can't make a decision, can't do anything. With all due respect, Arsenal had a chance where Madueke and Eucharist were running, and Martinelli literally simple passes to the goalkeeper. Saka, they were 4-on-4. Saka dribbled, got past the player. The overlap, Havertz done it, would have been 1-on-1. Saka chose to cut inside and shoot, got blocked. Right? Another time, overlap by Timber, Saka chose to cut inside, shoot, it blocked. Barcola 1-on-1. You know what is this? That's not only that's quality, decision making, quality of a dribble, quality of a shot. That's why we go back to, and Arteta on the sideline is going crazy. Arsenal in this game were nervous. That's the last thing I'm gonna say. Sorry, I went on a tangent. Arsenal normally don't lose the ball like this. Arsenal, when you lose the ball, you lose it to a corner, a goal kick, a throw-in, a free kick. Right? Yesterday, Arsenal lost the ball in open play. Like, just passed the ball wrong. Shot wrong. You lost the ball. And that is something that has uncharacteristics. And I believe yesterday the quality of PSG midfield, the quality of PSG attack made Arsenal nervous. Very, very nervous. But anyway, I don't want to stay in Arsenal for a while. This is more. But
but I just want to finish my point, because the last thing, because people said, what's the point of you mentioning that? The only reason I was mentioning Liverpool and City as a comparison is because I felt the quality, even though some of these finals Liverpool and City lost, but I felt like we knew at least going into these games, whoever they were facing, the quality was there. Felt like there was quality, especially in the attack. This is the game where we watch Arsenal go against PSG, and I think most of us predicted it was going to be attack versus defense, mainly because we don't rate the individuals going forward. It's okay to lose a Champions League final, and that's fine. Those Liverpool and City teams lost. But I think we had more, especially that one Liverpool loss against Madrid. Liverpool absolutely outplayed Madrid. They were better than them in every department.
Courtois won man of the match.
If it wasn't for Courtois, they would have won a Champions League, 100%. It was a miraculous. That's what happens when you have a world-class goalkeeper. I just felt like this Arsenal team, as good as they are in terms of winning the league and reaching the Champions League final, I still can't put them with those two teams, because I don't think they can go on a stage in the Champions League final and perform to that level. And that should be their aspiration to go on to next.
This summer, yeah.
Exactly. You need to, because a lot of people saying, what, Mo? We'll probably be in the Champions League final again next season. That's fair. But you want to be better next season, because what if you run into PSG again or another good team? You don't want to say, you know what, my quality up front is not that great, so maybe I have to defend. No, your aspirations is to get attackers that are as good as those teams that I mentioned, the Liverpools and the Cities, or at least the teams that you're facing right now, like the Bayerns, like the PSGs. You want to have attacks that you can put them on the same conversation with some of these players. That's all I'm saying, bro. So just go and improve that front line. So at least when you defend, you have X factors that you can use in transitions and use them as like focal points. Something has to give, bro. You can't go into the season with an attack like this.
And my point is, my last point I'm gonna say before we move on, we need to, Arsenal fans and I'm talking to my subscribers and the people that watch me, viewers, okay? Not everything is coming from an agenda. Me criticizing a part of your team because I want the team to get better. Same for Chelsea, same for Man United. That's my job. I do this for a living. And also, we need to stop saying statements just for the sake of statements. What I mean by this, we need to stop saying, but we scored the most goals. You know that I know that you know, not you, Staffy, the viewer, that you don't rate your attackers as highly as Desiree Doué, as Harry Kane, as Lamine Yamal. I know that you don't. You're just lying to yourself and telling yourself this to feel comfortable. Yeah, I know that you don't think that Martinelli is as good as Kvaratskhelia. I know that. Because it's just logical. Because if you think that, you are absolutely mentally ill. It's a mental illness at this time. If you think Martinelli is similar to Kvaratskhelia, you need help. Seek help. Right? For you telling me about we scored, you know why you scored the most goals. You know why you scored the most goals in the Champions League. Because Arteta is a fantastic coach that was able to utilize what he has to make it work.
You mean the Premier League?
And in the Champions League, in the beginning, in the first round of the Champions League, they scored the most goals.
I believe PSG scored the most goals, no?
No, in the first
in the first phase. I don't know about the first phase.
In the first phase, Arsenal scored the most goals, right?
Okay, fair enough.
So for me, we know that I want people to imagine one thing. Imagine this Arsenal team, right? With attackers of, just simple, one of Desiree Doué and Barcola on one side, Saka and Julian Alvarez. Very affordable. You can make this happen. Just imagine Arteta's defense, but when the ball goes long and goes to the wing, it's Desiree Doué on the ball and Julian Alvarez running behind the defense. Not Havertz or Gyökeres. Day and night. So, okay, here we go. Yes, Barcola's literally shit. In compared to who is shit? In compared to who?
See, me and you, Allah Azim Salah, we said the same moment. Compared to who?
In compared to Martinelli, in compared to Trossard, he's shit. In compared to Yamal, yes, he's shit. He's shit, even though he's shit compared to Ulisi, maybe. But he ain't shit. See, these are the comments that drive me crazy. He is shit compared to who? To Martinelli? Or to Trossard?
It's like, you know what it is, Mo? It's like you show me a house and I live in an apartment. And I'm like, this house is shit. Yeah, maybe compared to the guy who lives in a mansion, this house is shit.
Yeah.
But not to the guy who is living in an apartment, because now this house is an upgrade. It's a lot bigger.
So people need to understand that he might be shit. Like, for who? But also you need to look at who's available. You aren't number one. Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. You aren't getting Lamine Yamal. You aren't getting Ulisse. You aren't getting Kvaratskhelia. You aren't getting Dembele. I'm talking about the best wingers in the world, right? You might tap in Desiree Doué. You might. But I am, based on the reports and based on the news, PSG would sell Barcola first before they even think about Desiree Doué if they get Julian Alvarez, right?
Of course, because that's their front three. Yeah.
Yes.
I said this on the terrace on Friday, Mo. I said if Julian Alvarez goes to PSG, Arsenal do everything to get Desiree Doué. I think Desiree Doué is the perfect signing that happens for them. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it's obtainable.
No, I think they do. I think they do Kvaratskhelia. I think they go Kvaratskhelia.
He just went there. They're not, and no disrespect. I think right now Kvaratskhelia is still one level ahead of Doué because of just the impact that he has on the pitch.
That's why I think they go try
Doué
for
will be better,
Kvaratskhelia.
I think one day. It's just like that day's
but
not
I
now.
think they should go try for Kvaratskhelia, not Desiree Doué. French wants to stay in PSG with Dembele.
You think they'll sell him after just a year and a half?
Yeah.
Think so.
Kvaratskhelia.
I mean, the fact that they won, you know, I think we need to consider this more when we talk about PSG. They've already established everything in those 2 years. So
these players will be hungry for something outside.
Or just something different. I feel like teams kind of cling on to their players a little bit longer when they feel they still haven't achieved the things that they wanted.
Can I tell you one more thing?
But when you win 2 Champions Leagues in a row, you're more than full. Like you ate enough.
And can I tell you one more thing? winning the treble or winning the treble and winning League A doesn't solidify your career legacy. You need to go to a Barcelona, Real Madrid, Premier League.
I guess in like a highly rated league.
100%. You need to go. You win it with City, win it with United, win it with Liverpool, Arsenal, Real Madrid. Win it there. That is legacy. You will be remembered. You won't be remembered doing it. With all due respect, Zlatan Ibrahimovic's career in League A isn't counted as well.
Yeah, like, no one really talks about it like that.
Nobody cares about you, bro. In League A, Thiago Silva is being spoken about more than the league he won in Milan and the Champions League he won in Chelsea, more than all his career and the leagues he won at PSG. So,
of course.
Yeah, so that is. Let me do the supers before we go to another topic. See that conversation? Allah, this is how YouTube should be. Keep Leao away from United. Better keep Rashford. We'll talk about that, Tandizo.
Save that for later. Yeah. Save it actually for later.
I'm gonna save it.
Don't start.
Arsenal need to sign 5 players: a starting left winger, a young left winger, a starting striker, a midfielder, 8. You have Rice, a right back. No, you don't, unless you sell Ben White. Otherwise, don't think they can win anyway for Champions League final. I don't think so. I think
the right back market is garbage. I agree with you because I heard you say that yesterday. I'll tell you what, Mo, that performance that Hakimi put yesterday, wallahi, if it was any of our right backs, people would be killing. Imagine Dallo played like that yesterday. People would be like,
but no one talks about it. He was bad.
It was really bad. And I rate Hakimi, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's shit.
Terrible passes, terrible crosses, terrible shots, terrible...
He couldn't do anything. All his crosses were so overhit, they landed to no one. He literally had a Dallo performance, bro. Absolutely Dallo performance.
If Ben White is gone, yes. Why we're acting like he didn't pick the attackers?
That's a good point. That's a fair point.
No, hold on.
That's a fair point.
But people need to understand this. I have never sat here and said that Arteta isn't at fault for sticking with Martinelli, for sticking with Trossard, for signing Kai Havertz, for sticking with Jesus. Guys, that is different than analyzing his tactics of what he has. So that is a very fair point. But now he has these players. We're analyzing what he can do with these players. You get the point, Kenny. So he's at fault of this, right? So maybe his talent idea is shit, right? Maybe. But we're talking about his tactics. I don't think he can do anything with it. These players are inept, bro. And I said it many times. Staffy, I agree with your take. Big up, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Guys, before I do the next, there is over 800 people in the house, guys. Can we get to 400 likes live? Is that something that we can do? The like button is simple, people. It's very, very simple. So
I didn't like the video. Let me go like it.
Yeah, so go like the video. Get us to 400 likes live. PSG had the ball. Arsenal had the better opportunities. Just didn't have the quality to finish them. It was 50-50 called. It was not that. No, Arsenal had opportunities. They didn't have clear-cut chances other than the Havertz one. They didn't have clear-cut chances as well. It was... You didn't have the quality to... Okay, this is what I mean always, all the time. The coach's job is to get the attackers in the position to make the chance happen. That's called an opportunity. Now it's on the attackers to make things happen. Arsenal didn't have the quality to turn opportunities into chances. Didn't. Flat out, and I'm saying it here, guys, Arsenal did not have the quality to turn opportunities into chances other than Odegaard's pass. He signed Noni, Eucharist, and Eze last window. Arteta likes those attacking players that run back to play defense. You need those types that just attack. Fair, like maybe he's gonna move to the next level this summer.
I disagree, Mo. Jose Mourinho used to always have some of the best attacking outlets, and they also defended when they needed to. They were, you know what? Let's remove the word defending. It's hard work, Mo. Do these players work hard on the pitch or not? Yeah, sometimes you can afford to have one luxury player. Like if you have Ronaldo, okay, fuck it. He doesn't run back, but I know this guy's giving me like 50 goals a season. It's a good net positive. Like it's worth having on the team. But I don't agree with this idea that like Arteta needs to start just signing players who don't want to defend. No, you can have attackers that work hard off the ball regardless.
Kvaratskhelia, by the way,
we just use PSG as a proof.
When PSG defend, Kvaratskhelia goes all the way back to cover with Nuno Mendes, by the way. But people forget this. But there's one problem with
picture
Arsenal.
Of Dembele that they used as a meme for years now, where he's on the edge of the box, ready to press the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
why is that? It's because he's ready to work hard off the ball. And that's Dembele, who ended up winning the Ballon d'Or. I disagree with that.
Big up Judge Mo and Staffy from Western Canada. I just got
Big up,
my
yeah.
new Canadian National Team World Cup 26 jersey. Let's go. Canada can't wait. Did you get it from OK Jersey?
You know what?
Did you get it from OK Jersey, though? Guys, OK Jersey is running a great campaign for the World Cup. You're going to find a lot of jerseys for the World Cup. Go and check them out. Use code MHF, people. Come on. Come on, big up, my man. Thank you, my man, for this. Amino, it is crazy that I keep hearing that Enrique outplayed Arteta. PSG's best attack wouldn't score from an open play for another 300 minutes. This was the plan, and no other team can do it apart from Arsenal. No one said that Enrique outplayed Arteta. Who said that? Amino?
I think he's talking about like other people. I don't think he's talking about this show.
By the way, I'm going to tell you something, and I was going to do a video about this, but I didn't. You know, Ferdinand, John Terry, all of them said, and all the pundits said that we think that Arteta had a master plan, and it worked. But it's just sometimes in these games there is a little bit of quality, and the penalties, they will let you down.
You know what? I ran into a clip on Instagram or something, and it was Liaz, and he used a very good term. Shout out Liaz. He said it's a medical term where it says the operation was a success, but we lost the patient, which means you did everything correct in the operation as a doctor.
Arsenal didn't do everything correct, though. I disagree.
They basically did up until the penalty, like when you think about it. And then they still lost the patient because they lost in penalties.
Until the penalty, yes. But after the penalty, there was 25 minutes. There's
but you get the idea that the plan was working and you still didn't win. Because you didn't concede from open play. Let's be honest. As much as we're saying all this, you actually didn't concede from open play. Like their front line had a stinker, bro. Like there's nothing they could have done.
Mo, I have super chatted on your channel before, so this isn't recency bias, and I will repeat it. I like our team overall. It can win consistently. It can, and I'm going to respond to you, Mark.
He sent a few of them in a row, by the way. So I think that's what he's trying to do. He wants you to read all of them.
Let's do them. 2, consistently playing with the approach we have right now, but it doesn't have elite attackers like Madrid, Bayern, Barca, and PSG. I agree with this, and I said this. If Arsenal stay with the same team next season, they are outright favorites to win the league. But you always aspire for more. People need to think about this. You need more. You need to be better. You need to be better, Marco. That is what you're missing. You need attackers. If you want to dominate, and I believe that you can dominate, you need elite attackers because you have elite defenders, right? So you need elite attackers to make the difference. You can be that team. Big up, Marco. Well said, Mo, on the Arsenal attack. Saka ethic. Thank you so much, my man. Appreciate you so much for people finally agreeing with us.
Marco, if you want to read them. There's still number 3.
Okay,
he has a few of them.
Okay, I'm going to read Marco.
Go to Marco
quickly.
So they all make sense.
Good convo. So let's talk names that put us on the PSG, Bayern, Barca, Madrid attacking discussion. I didn't.
Yeah, there's one more, number
3. And yes, I do want those elite attackers. So good convo. So let's talk about the names that put us in the PSG, Bayern, Barca attack. Julian Alvarez would have put you there. I believe Adamalo Lukman is a great forward. Technical, can shoot from both speeds, can be very good. He might not be today Desiree Doué, but Desiree Doué wasn't Desiree Doué before he joined PSG. Kvaratskhelia wasn't the same Kvaratskhelia. By the way, Kvaratskhelia improved a lot when he joined PSG.
Marco, please do me a favor next time for my OCD. Just put it all in one super chat.
He can't do that. He can't do those. It's very hard. So, Mo, when you say Nelly is shit, you are implicitly comparing him to Vinny, for example, correct? No, I'm comparing him to Cody Gakpo.
Yeah, for the standard play, he's actually below average. Like, he's
guys, Wallahi al-Azim, I think Martinelli, and that is, you can disagree with me all day. I think Martinelli, the current version of Martinelli for me, right? I would start, okay. Ryan over him from Bournemouth. I would start Semenyo, Doku, Mbuemo, Cunha, Ndai over him. I would start, what's the guy's name from Brighton?
Matoma?
No, the other guy.
I forgot his name.
I forgot his
chat will
name.
let us know now.
Guys, what's his name? The guy from Brighton. He's not as bad. He's not Garnacho, because I think Garnacho is worse than him, right? Rio Ngomo is better than him. So we're reaching a level now where we're talking about 80. Max Dauman is better than him, and he's young.
Minty, yeah, thank you.
Mente. Who else are wingers in that? Bowen is better than him. Somerville is better than him. That's my opinion. I think he makes terrible decisions. By the way, he makes terrible decisions on the ball. So, is it that black and white? You are either Kvara or shit? No, there are levels. That's why I said there is Kvara, there is Yamal, there is Olise, Kvara, there is Desiree Doué, there is Saka, and then we can go to Ndai. We can go. There's Vinny as well up there. There is levels, and then there is 50 feet of crap, and then there is Martinelli.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I think Trossard is levels as a footballer ahead of Martinelli. And I mean levels ahead of Martinelli. Trossard. But the difference in age and fitness and quickness and all this stuff. Spot on. Arsenal do need much better attackers. Even Saka at this level needs to take a step up. What's crazy is that this team that won the league still have significant level to improve. This is where people need to understand, Jonathan, that the team has levels to improve. Right? You cannot just, you aren't at the pinnacle of every single thing. Maybe the defense, maybe the goalkeeper, but you can improve your attackers 100%, Jonas. You're spot on. Spot on. Martinelli sexuals are out and about this weekend.
Wait, Mo. So read this one and then read the last one. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful the sequence. Do that. So read this one and then read the last one.
I disagree very strongly. Nelly is a top 5 left wingers.
Stupid.
Someone's making fun of Martinelli sexuals, and then Marco comes in and says Martinelli's top 5. Wallah, beautiful. I love how people can watch the same thing and have just completely opposing opinions. That's the beauty of football.
Anyway, Marco, let's agree to disagree. Wallah, let's agree to disagree, Marco. I know you like. This is why I think people are attached to their players. If Arteta didn't fancy Martinelli, he would be at Hull. I think Martinelli would be very.
Is hilarious, bro.
Martinelli would be very good for a counter-attacking team, and also in a counter-attacking team, he's not like the best. He's not the best. Henry. People underrate timing in sports. They have come against a treble-winning City in the past, and now one of the best UEFA Champions League sides ever, PSG. Similarly, we would have won more UEFA Champions League if it wasn't for that Pep Barca team. 100%. Man United would have won an extra, but that's how football works. Because yes, they had Messi, but you also had Cristiano. You had players after. So for me...
we had him in one of those two finals. Actually, when you think about it, Mo, I was thinking about this yesterday.
Yeah, Habibi, you played...
If Barcelona didn't exist...
You played Pep in twice. You played Pep in 2009 and 12.
No, I'm saying, Messi. But one of them we didn't have Ronaldo because he left. So he left for the second.
Yeah. 2012, yeah.
But think about it like this, Mo. If United would have won those 2 Champions Leagues, imagine how different the world would have been. First of all, we'd have 5 Champions Leagues in 5 tries.
Start here?
Think about it. Hold on. I'll tell you what I think about it.
11 guys, not 12. Sorry.
Give me 30 seconds. Think about the world with Pep and Messi not winning those 2 Champions Leagues. Barcelona wouldn't have that one treble. So Pep's legacy would look completely different. So Alex would have 2 more Champions Leagues. United would have never lost a Champions League. Maybe Ronaldo doesn't even leave and go to Real Madrid.
I think
we have 5 European trophies. United and Ferguson's legacy when it comes to Champions League and Europe.
You would have been more successful than Inter, but you aren't. That's what it is.
Or we're tied. But we'd have Ferguson would have 4 Champions Leagues. the conversation would be completely different. By the way, like we'd be living in a different world.
Wallah, I'm gonna tell you something. If that Norwegian fraud, the referee that refed Barcelona, Chelsea, I think the last 18 years of football would have dramatically changed. Dramatically changed if that final was Chelsea Man United and Barcelona didn't reach that final.
It would be a repeat. Yeah.
I believe football would have changed. The legacy of the Xavis, Iniestas, Pep, everybody would have changed, in my opinion. If they didn't reach the final of 2000,
it would be completely different. Wallahi, I think that Champions League specifically changed it.
The World Cup would have, everything would have been different. That game changed the trajectory of football for the 10 years that went after.
Who do you think would have won the final? Would United have won again, or would it have been Chelsea?
Chelsea would have won the final.
Think so? Because we still won the league that year.
But Chelsea were very strong.
I do remember. I mean,
Chelsea were very strong, and they had Gus Hiddink, who's a good coach. Chelsea were very strong, but I don't know. But I'm just assuming, to be honest. People keep saying he picked the attack. Meanwhile, he wanted Isak, Rodrigo, and Alvarez. If guys like that keep rejecting you, you have to get what you can. If that, listen, I'm gonna tell you something, Kika. I don't know that. I know that he wanted Havertz, and Havertz was one of his choices. I know he wanted Madueke. So I know that. But maybe if he wanted Isak, and by the way, there is a report that saying they chose not to approach Isak because they wanted to use the funds differently. Arsenal should sign Julian Alvarez, Rogers, and Barcola. Yeah, I mean, that would be dream. And I don't think you can sign 3. You can sign 2 of these. By the way, 200 million will get you 2 of these. 200 million will get you 2 of these. Big up, my man. Welcome for the membership. Appreciate you so much. Saka, Martinelli, Madueke, Trossard, Jesus 9, Eucharist are not good enough for the next level. I agree. But people don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear this. People don't want to hear this. In all fairness, Martin Smelly was good in 2020. That's why they're waiting for him. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm afraid for Saka to have the same, we have the same convo. He's going to come back, he's going to come back, he's going to come back, he's going to come back. Sometimes players never come back. Rashford never came back at United. And Rashford was rated very highly. Some players never come back. They never do. A lot of players in the history of the sport never came back to their level. So that needs to be spoken about.
Sterling never came back.
Sterling never came back.
Never came back.
Yeah. A lot of people never came back. And by the way, Manchester City kept saying Grealish is going to go back, and he didn't. And he didn't go back, and then they had to loan him out. There's a lot of players that fall in this. Yeah, Dele Ali, people are saying. And people need to stop being attached to players. Anyway, keep Leo away from United. Better keep Rashford. I'm going to ask you a question about this since I have you here. Sam asked me yesterday this. Who moves ahead of the other? With Iraola now being at Liverpool, who's better? United or Liverpool next season? By the way, you won Rafael Leao or no?
No.
No?
No, he's a lesser Rashford. I think people have this idea of Leao, but that idea doesn't match their reality. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. But like, he's never had a peak season like Rashford's had, as an example.
He had a much better peak season. He won Milan the league single-handedly. Yeah. He won Milan the league single-handedly.
No disrespect. Winning the league in the Serie A.
Winning the league with Milan when you are trailing by yourself is different.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but for the numbers that Rashford put that one season, the 40 GNA, I've never seen Leao do that.
In the league, you put 40 GNA?
Rashford? Not in the league, in the season. He had like 30 goals.
I'm going to tell you something. I like Rashford. Leao is a much better player than Marcus Rashford. Ability and talent wise.
He really
he's much better. Number one, Rabbina, God created him different. He's physically stronger than Rashford. He's much
Rashford's very strong, but
he's much stronger. He's much bigger.
Ability wise, you said ability. You didn't say physical.
Ability wise, technically, he doesn't dribble with speed like Rashford. He does the speed and the flicks and tricks. Leao could have been the best winger in the world. The best winger in the world if he had the right attitude. The best
Okay,
winger.
so share my screen. I tweeted this.
You have to zoom. You have to zoom.
I can see it. You guys don't see this. Very clear on my screen. Anyways, this is the comparison of the numbers this season. And mind you, Rashford's come off the bench.
But Leao this season is shit. Milan is shit.
Yeah, and this is the Leao I'm buying.
Oh,
Rashford this
okay.
season.
I get what you're saying. This is the Leao you are buying. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is the Leao I'm buying today. This is this season. Look at this. Forget all the other stats. Forget the non-penalty goals and all that. All that is whatever. We can have conversations. Look at the chances created at least. 42 chances when he's coming off the bench.
With a shit team. I'm convinced Rafael Leao is a great.
Yeah, Mo. I'm sorry, Mo, but what is the level in the Serie A right now that we're talking about? We're not. It's not. We're talking about Leao playing in the 80s or 90s Serie A. So it's like when we're talking about a shit, he's playing in a shit team. It's very relative.
I believe he's very talented, in my opinion. He's very, very talented.
Yeah, he's talented, but like, where he's gonna think he's gonna bring me the same headache that we already had with Rashford, and people already didn't accept. Oh, he's lazy. Oh, his body language. Oh, he doesn't track back, and then he's gonna do all that with scoring less GNA. At least GNA is a good currency for people to fuck off your back. Imagine Leao at Old Trafford. Wallah Azim, they'd kill him, bro. They'd kill him. At least Rashford was from the academy and what he did for the kids and all that. People still gave him a break and they kind of had a little bit of empathy and emotional attachment to him. They wouldn't do that with Leao. After this season.
I think people don't understand. I said that many guys. Can we get hit that like button, people? Come on. Hit that like button. Let's get to 400 likes live. At least half the percentage of the 800 people that are here. Hit the like button. I actually agree with you. I actually fear that you're gonna pay like 50 million for Leao. He comes in. Leao is not the nonchalant Ulisse type. Leao is the nonchalant that he's only on the move if he's involved and he feels like it. And I don't like this. I like players that work like Kvaratskhelia. Like for me, Kvaratskhelia works on and off the ball relentlessly. Leao doesn't. So, but I want to forget.
It's not the profile I want at all.
Yeah, talk about United. Talking about Manchester United. I care more about the team winning than a player coming back or killing it with GNA. We are the EPL champs and the team will win it again next year. Fair enough. Fair enough. But you got to improve, my friend. You have to improve. You never know. You don't do the Liverpool thing and feet kicked up. Don't do that. It's not guaranteed, guys. It's not guaranteed. Arsenal summarized is the drawing of the horse meme. Back is drawn very well. Middle is good, but needs work. And the attack is drawn by a 5 years old. Oh, I remember. I know that drawing. I know what you're talking about. The attack needs work. Leao has the physicality and athleticism to play in the Prem. Yeah, but he doesn't have the attitude, Fonzie.
Yeah, but exactly. Go do that in another club. You know what, bro? Send him to Spurs. No expectations. He'll do well. That's a perfect team for him.
Fair enough. For Man United versus Liverpool, who moves ahead? Because this guy always... Now, I'm going to tell you, for the whole summer, MHF, me and Osam, it will be who's ahead in the picking order. Who's going to be better next season? Is Iraola better than Carrick?
Hopium and copium anyways. That's the reality. That's the reality. Sam just does a lot of copium now. Don't take what he says seriously. That's a great question,
who's
by the way.
Who's going to be better in your opinion? Because Carrick, Iraola, who's better, number one?
I mean, I think Iraola has a better sample size in the Premier League. I think what he's done with Bournemouth has been very impressive. I don't know how he's going to go.
I thought you have an agenda. I have to say that your manager is better. Otherwise, you don't support United.
Well, luckily, my IQ doesn't hover around room temperature. So I can actually speak a little bit more.
Where is the rich bait? Where is the rich bait? When did I do rich bait? Where is the rich bait? This is one of the most objective conversations. Where is the rich bait, my man? Where did I do rich bait?
Anyways, no, I think Iraola, listen, I think what he's done with Bournemouth has been impressive. I was ready to take Iraola after Emirates. I spoke about him a lot at that time, and I was ready to take him. I think recruitment is going to be a big thing. because I don't want to make, number one, I've learned not to make any predictions anymore. Not because I'm scared to make predictions. It's because I've learned that this chat will just cook you in a couple months if you say something, and they'll just bring it out of context and they'll treat it the way they treat Don. I'm not gonna allow myself to step into that. My objective take that I really do mean is I think is going to be a lot on recruitment. Iraola is a good manager. I think for what Carrick has done at United has been very impressive. And there's a very good argument to say that maybe no other manager comes in and does what Carrick did. I don't know how he did it, but
devil's advocate here. I got devil's advocate.
Here we go. Tell me why.
I got devil's advocate. How many managers went from smaller teams to bigger teams and worked? Unai Emery.
Unai Emery didn't work.
It didn't work. How many?
Oh, I thought you said worked.
Thomas Frank didn't work to go to a bigger team.
Okay.
However, Carrick can be Arteta. Like there are managers that did.
God forbid, I don't want to wait 6 years to watch.
Maresca, Arteta didn't have the team. Maresca came from the Championship to Chelsea, similar. But the people that work in the Prem, the people that work in mid-table teams, how many sample size? I'm asking the questions to create the conversation. How many mid-table team like a Fulham, like David Moyes, didn't work at Man United.
A good one. Shout out
Graham Potter didn't work. Like how many managers that did wonder jobs with mid-table teams? David Moyes. I'm not talking Championship. I'm talking mid-table teams that did good in getting. Eddie Howe, Bournemouth went to Newcastle. It worked, not work.
I want to put Newcastle as a big club like that. No.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean.
How many managers that went up a notch and kind of crumbled?
Lampard, Gerrard, those are two that you can mention.
No, Lampard, Gerrard didn't coach in the Prem. Okay, coaching in the Prem to do okay.
Lampard coached twice at Chelsea.
No.
Oh, because he came from Derby County.
There's two differences. There is a full-time manager like a Graham Potter who took Brighton, made it work, got them to Europe, or didn't get them to Europe, got them like high, and then he went to Chelsea, didn't work. There is David Moyes, got Everton, blah blah blah, worked, went to Man United, didn't work. Unai Emery worked to Sevilla, one European, went to Arsenal, didn't work. Now it's working at Aston Villa. Who else? There are other managers that when they work in the Prem, they don't work in top clubs. I'm talking about the managers that made it in the Championship, right? And then they jump. Because I wouldn't consider Michael Carrick's Championship career as like a big career. That's different advocate. Because I believe that Carrick is like a new guy. Blank page. Iraola has a track record. That's why Iraola's resume is better.
In the Premier League, because he spent more time, and I think what he's done with Bournemouth.
Is that a fair argument from me to say that?
No, I think it's fair, and I think he has a good sample size, and we've watched his football longer, and we've seen it with more limited resources. But yet again, I can't. I'm not gonna do a Hussam. I'm not gonna sit here and just.
Hussam.
No, I have to because he's in the chat. I'm not gonna do a Hussam.
Not in the chat. I'm
gonna say it regardless. I'm not going to do a Hussam and give Liverpool fans copium because I don't know the step up from Iraola. Maybe you can bet on him doing well because I do think he's a good coach. But I'm going to say the same thing I said about United, bro. It's all about what you do in the summer. And I think coming off this season, it's been a horrible season for them by their standards and where they were. And I think Arne Slot has done a lot of damage. So not only does Iraola have to come in and do a job with some of the players that they're going to sign, he has to reverse a lot of things that Arne Slot is done. And I don't know how a lot of these players, if like a lot of these players
give me an example?
Example of what? Of reversing?
What are the things that he needs to reverse?
First of all, the tactics were absolutely garbage. Whatever they were doing on the pitch, I don't know what we were watching. Midfields were just being open.
Yeah, but Iraola has good tactics. We watch him.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. He has to reverse whatever he was doing, and he has to coach this style. Because I think his style is a little bit more attacking, a little bit more high pressing, a little bit more high intense. So he has to undo a year of failure, at least on the pitch or at least mentally with some of these players. And as I said, it's the summer, bro. They're losing Konate. They lost Salah. I don't know what kind of signings they're going to make. I can't even tell you right now. Do we even know what the starting 11 for Liverpool currently is before they make any signings? So there's a huge question mark left on them. So I'm not gonna rule out Iraola from anything that he does, but I just don't know, bro. There's just generally no way for me to judge it. I think I'll tell you this though: anyone who's guaranteeing Liverpool to finish in the top 4 or guaranteeing Liverpool to compete for the league, they're lying to you. There's absolutely no guarantees. You don't know. You actually don't know, and there's no way to say that. Klopp is no longer here, and all these elite players that were performing for you, they're no longer here. All the players that you're left with right now, the majority of them have been underperforming for one reason or another. So there's actually no way for me to give you an objective prediction on Liverpool's season. Can I bet on them? Sure, but I don't know. I actually don't know. So their season, I think, is going to be big. They need to go and replace what's his name, Konate. You have an aging Van Dijk. Frimpong, there's a lot of question marks on. Kirk is there's still question marks on. I don't know how the midfield is going to look. Is Isak going to be back to form? Is Wirtz going to perform in the 10? Is he going to?
But the same questions can be asked about. But the same questions can be asked about Manchester United.
I think Manchester United are a lot more stable. Manchester United have question marks as well, though. But not as much.
What guarantees you that what happened isn't a honeymoon period?
Because I've watched it, bro. Like, I can only go by the sample size that's provided to me. I don't know. You turn off your camera. But the sample size from United, at least it exists.
I'm just asking for water. So.
I was like, where the hell did he go? I was like, who am I answering now?
Nothing.
There's a sample size for Man United, whether it's big or not, but there's a sample size. And at least
it's a very small sample size. The 17 games is very small.
A small sample size is better than no sample size.
And it doesn't have a okay. Man United don't, like, in that 17 games, I can't pinpoint my hand on the footprint of what's going to happen. For example, Pep Guardiola, first 20 games for Manchester City, you can right away pinpoint how Pep Guardiola is going to play football. Jurgen Klopp, it's the same. Even with players like shit. I can't pinpoint what Man United are going to do next season. I can't put my hand on this is how Man United are going to do. So
he's coached 18 games. You have nothing from 18 games that he coached? I think it was 18 games. You have nothing to pinpoint from 18 games.
I think that he got the best out.
So you know nothing about Carrick in 18 games, Mo. You can't tell that he's a little bit of a mid-block manager. He likes to rely on the front line having a little bit more freedom and individual brilliance. Like you can't pinpoint any of these things.
Because I don't think that, because I watched Man United defend against Leeds and then smother Everton and then defend against Everton.
Yeah, sure. United have been up and down, but at least you saw
exactly
something.
My point.
Have a better idea. That's the conversation. The conversation right now is who do we well, let me think of a way to phrase this.
By the way, similar to Arteta in the beginning. In the first 2 years of Arteta, you couldn't pinpoint what does this guy want to do. Does he want to fly in wing backs? Does he want to, like, be compact? Does he want to be stretch? Does he want to stretch the pitch? Like Inter, Conte, day one, we knew exactly how we're gonna play football. We knew exactly how we're gonna play football. Of course, it's not exact same thing every game.
I agree. But you got to remember what your question was. It was just exclusively Man United and Liverpool.
Yes.
We're not talking about who's going to have an amazing season. We're not talking about who's going to compete for the league. We're not talking about these things. If I have to choose between those two, I have a better betting on anything United do than Liverpool, because I absolutely saw nothing with Liverpool and Iraola. I can at least name you the majority of the starting 11 for United going into this season. I can't do the same with Liverpool. We can try to do it right now if you want. And I don't think we'll name more United players. You can remove Casemiro because he's left. You remove Casemiro, and that's probably the biggest question mark, and that's it. Then you go to Liverpool. I don't know who the second center back is going to be. I don't know if Alisson is going to stay. I actually don't know who the right back is going to be. Okay, so for the sake of the argument, we'll put Alisson there. I don't know their front line, the majority of the front line. I don't know how it's going to look. Is it going to be Isak, and then who else? Is it going to be Gakpo going on the left? They can't run another season with Gakpo. Who's going to play on the right? Salah's left. Who's going to be their marquee signing? If they even make a marquee signing. I don't know. There's more question marks over there. There's actually so much more unknown about Liverpool than it is the United. And this is not a guarantee for United to have a successful season. I just know more about United. I can confidently right now, as of today, May 31st at 3:04 p.m. say that I know more about Man United than I do know about Liverpool, and I think that's is a logical thing to say. By the way, Iraola in the chat, well, obviously you're a fake one. He's saying we're signing players. I know you're signing players, but I don't know who they are. United are signing players too. I don't know who they are. And this is why I keep saying this. Every time Mo asks me this question, I've given the same answer. I'm not putting predictions on United's season until I see who it is. What if we just end with Ederson? Obviously, that's not going to happen. But let's just, for the sake of the argument, imagine they just signed Ederson. Then that's the season that I'm going to predict very low. But then if United signed Ederson and they signed Elliot Anderson, or instead of Elliot Anderson, they signed Tchouameni, my expectations go from here all the way here. So relying on that, I can give you a logical answer. But as of right now, I don't know.
What about the Liverpool players? Like, there's a lot of Liverpool players. Let me just Marco, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Guys, if you receive the membership, you know who to thank. It is Marco. What? So
big up, Marco.
Big up, Marco. Thank you so much for gifting. If you receive the membership, you know who to thank. For Liverpool, I want to ask you a question. I want to do this first. Liverpool will be much better technically than Man United.
Why? Why and how? Please explain to me how you got.
I was going to ask you something similar to this, by the way.
But how? How could you even make who? How do you know United are going to be Liverpool going to be more technical than United when you don't know who? Who's playing in that team? Can you at least tell me who's that team in your head? So at least I understand why you think there will be more technical.
Okay, let me tell you the team. Okay.
Do you send the super chat? Are you Rosie? Are you Rosie Daniel?
Oh, you're asking about Rosie. Okay. Rosie's
I mean, you can answer for him. I just would like to know.
It's a woman. That's fine. She's a woman.
Well, it could be Rosie Daniel, but I don't know. Okay.
I know that. I know that.
Big up Rosie.
Like, for me, if you're talking about Liverpool, the core is Alisson, Van Dijk. I don't know who the fuck is the right back. Maybe Frimpong. Carrick is on the left. There's going to be Jacquet, and they're going to sign another center back. And there is McAllister, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Isak, Gakpo, and I don't know who the right winger is. That's the core. I'm giving you the core. So they need a right winger, a right back, and a right center back, assuming that the right back would be Frimpong. They need a center back, and they need a right winger. Why is this team not better than Man United if it's full of Premier League winners?
Because what does Premier League winning have to do? Because they finished, what, 4th or 5th?
The quality.
You know what you just did? You just did what you hate the most. That sounded like, oh, Arsenal are never going to win the Premier League because they never won the Premier League. Because Liverpool won the Premier League, they're all good.
No.
Gakpo shit and he won the Premier League. What are we doing?
And that's what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, so do you think, so that's why, who's the player that you think they are high quality at Liverpool?
As of today?
As of today, yeah.
I think Wirtz is a good player. I would like to see what Wirtz is gonna, what Iraola is gonna do with Wirtz, because I think someone needs to unlock that player. Clearly, he's a better player than what we've seen on the Slot. I think Slot failed him more than anything. So I think he's gonna be a key player to look at.
Ya عمي Leone. Yeah. Again, we're talking about Leone, Linioro, Heaven, all the same.
And I'd like to see Isak performing outside of Eddie Howe coaching, because his career literally is centered around those 2 years under Eddie Howe. I'd like to see how those two do, because those two technically from the teams that I have right now, those two players potentially have the higher ceiling. That's it. Other than that, there's no one I rate.
McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Van Dijk, Alisson.
That midfield doesn't even function. We already know that.
It doesn't function because it's this season Arne Slot. It did function last year when they won the league. Gravenberch was one of the best players.
Sure, Gravenberch had a very good season.
McAllister was good. Szoboszlai has a very good season. So
do you think they should run the same midfield again?
I think the midfield will be Szoboszlai, McAllister. As of now, Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Wirtz, unless they sign another midfielder. It's a very capable midfield. Under Iraola, that's a very capable midfield.
I don't know, bro. I've personally always found McAllister to be overrated. Some used to say he's world class. I always used to question him why. What is he world class at?
I don't think McAllister is world class anyway.
He's not
bad. I don't know. I think he's Enzo
I
Fernandez.
think he's a
level.
decent player. I just never thought he was
He's a decent player, Enzo Fernandez level, like with that world class thing. Like, is
Enzo Fernandez is
McAllister
better
top
than-
5? Is
Enzo Fernandez is
McAllister
better
top
than
5?
McAllister. I don't even like Enzo Fernandez. He's better.
I think they're similar.
I just don't know what he excels at. That's why I've never put him this.
Well, Enzo Fernandez doesn't excel in anything as well. They're just good all around.
He's a much better passer than McAllister.
Than McAllister.
And he's at least and he's at least added what's it called, box crashing to his game, where he gets a lot of goals.
Yeah.
I don't know what McAllister does.
Yeah, Cam. Recruitment will define who does better, not the manager. But the manager plays a big factor. I disagree with you, Cam. The manager plays a massive factor in this. I actually think that managerial appointments account for about 30 to 40% of the performances of your players. Look at the difference in Carrick and Emirates, slot first season versus slot second season.
He's half right, because I do think you can easily let down Carrick or Iraola if you don't recruit for them well. But equally, we saw Liverpool sign all these players last season and Slot did nothing with them. And now we're having a conversation about most of them not being good enough. So that's because of Slot. That's not because most of these players actually are shit.
No, of course, I want to improve. My last super chat said nothing about not improving. It was in response to you saying Saka could stagnate. No. Just to respond to this quickly, Saka cannot stay at the same level. If Saka stagnates at this level, Saka went backwards, Marco. You need to understand this. Saka went backwards. So Saka cannot stay in this level. He needs to improve even to a decent level.
Kadidi Kim sent me this earlier and I just saw it now. When you were saying Rafael, when you're saying Rafael Leao was bigger than Rashford, guys, this is the physical comparison. Leao is 6'2", which is 1.88. Marcus Rashford is 6'2" as well, 1.88. The weight, Rafael Leao is 81 kilograms. Rashford is 80 kilograms. So Rafael Leao is 1 kilogram heavier than him. And their top sprint, Leao was 36.5 kilometers per hour and Rashford is 36.32 kilometers per hour. So literally they're like twins.
Yeah, but I always felt like Rafael was
maybe your eye was deceiving you.
Maybe my eyes, maybe. How many years do you expect under Carrick?
I don't know. I'm not married to the idea of Carrick, though. I'll tell you this. I'm glad that Carrick is on a 2-year contract. And I forgot who said that to me. He was like, oh, but if United back Carrick, why not give him a 5-year contract? Because that's the same thing we did with David Moyes, with Ten Hag, and we were stuck with payments for years and years. But to me, that shows that if he basically has to earn a big contract, if he comes in, I'll tell you this, if Carrick comes in and competes for the league as an example, he'll get a new contract next summer, 100%. And if he flops, we'll be like, all right, it's easier to sack him or just replace him in 1 year because he's only here on 2 years.
The UEFA Champions League should not change the status of the team. We won the Premier League. We were unbeaten in the Champions League. We should improve, but the base is very solid.
That's results-based analysis, Marco, and I think you're better than that. I don't think you were one penalty away from saying this team is great or this team is shit. So
I hate this argument because Gabriel missed the chance. Arsenal team is great or not great.
You know what it reminds me of?
Saw or you didn't like what you saw. That's it.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? When Arsenal were like level with City in the league, and then Mark Gahey gave away the ball, and they ended up drawing. People were like, "Oh, Arteta in," and I'm like, "Wait, you needed Mark Gahey to make a mistake for you to win the league and be Arteta in. Like, did you believe in Arteta or not? Like, Mark Gahey should have not changed your opinion."
I always ask this question. I always told people, Mark Gahey passing the ball back should not change your opinion on if you like Arteta as a coach or not.
You know what's funny? We actually said this last year. If you remember, Mo, we used to give this scenario. We did it with Saad. Because Saad, remember Saad was khalas, he was Arteta out last season when they didn't win anything. And me and you tried to convince him. It was on your channel as well. And we said, so Saad, like, what if you reach the Champions League final, but you lose by penalties? Like, does that make you Arteta in or out? SubhanAllah, a year later, they reached the Champions League final and lost on penalties. But the only difference is they won the league. So that actually like kind of swayed it away from the conversation. I would have loved, you know what it is? I actually would have loved if Arsenal didn't win the league, just for this argument. Obviously, I don't care about them winning the league right now, for people don't say anything. But like, imagine they didn't win the league and they went to this Champions League. It's their only chance to win a trophy. And they reached the final. and the exact scenario that happened, would they have been Arteta in or out based on the Gabriel penalty? Just imagine that scenario.
You never DM'd me.
You know what, Ram?
He didn't even DM me, bro. You didn't even DM me.
Shut up, Ram.
He didn't even DM me.
Well, she probably should DM'd you saying, send me the link.
He didn't DM me, bro. He didn't. The DMs is like the Interfans group, Canadian, Staffy, and then top 6. There's no DM from Ram. He never DM'd me for real.
Stupid.
The confidence of Liverpool players are very low. That's something that
They're
people
definitely
don't
not
talk
mentally
about.
in a good place like United players. And we have the player who's about to win the PFA Player of the Year. So,
By the way, the Man United fans relying so much on Bruno replicating the season, and they don't want to hear anything about Bruno dropping form, which something happens in players like Bruno.
I would disagree with you because the underlying metrics are pretty much like there every season.
Salah's underlying metrics were great.
Because I'll tell you what, assists. Bruno didn't score a lot of goals this season, but he got a lot of assists. And you can attach assists with better finishing more than creation anyways. Because he does create all the time.
Salah created the most chances.
This season? No, he didn't. The season before.
Season before. He created the most chances.
No, but it doesn't matter who created the most. I'll tell you what, because if Bruno creates the same numbers, but Salah one year had more than him, and then the next year less, it doesn't have anything to do with Bruno's numbers. I actually want to check that now that you said that.
Look at last season, big chances created, assists, Salah was number 1 in the league. Look at the
this
last
season,
2 games.
big chances created, Bruno has 33, and chances created in general, he has 136, which is insane, by the way, because Szoboszlai has 78. Now, let me do the season before. Big chances, Bruno, 27. And chances created, you lied, Mo. Bruno had 91. And Salah had 80.
Big
89.
chances created last season. Who did?
Oh, actually, sorry. It says Salah 27. Yeah, sorry. But Bruno had the most chances created regardless. 91.
Chances created don't count. Big chances created don't count.
Created at 16. Yeah, but you got to understand sometimes that stat is very contextualized. Because if you put a great pass and someone just doesn't tap it in, it's not a big chance or a chance created at all because it didn't register to a shot. But regardless, Bruno being a top chance creator in the league, I don't think that's going away next season. He might not get 21 assists again, but if you get like 15 assists, that's great. Or even 12 to 15.
Mo, I think Liverpool should sign Martinelli. Finding out today his levels above the Donkey Gakpo. It only makes sense we upgrade. He's an elite bowler.
Fonzie really loves Martinelli.
Yeah. Rogers is 6'2", 79 kilograms. Thought he was 5'10 max. He's a big guy.
See what you had us doing. Everyone now is checking the player's physical stats.
He's a big guy, Twinny. Even if Man City beat Everton, that's not the problem. It was the Bournemouth game that outplayed Manchester City. But Arteta didn't coach Bournemouth. It was Iraola. Like, Man City not winning against Bournemouth. It doesn't make Arteta a genius because Iraola outcoached Pep Guardiola. The people know what I'm talking about. You see the logic.
Okay, so can you answer your own question now? What do you think is going to have a better season?
Next season?
Prediction. Yeah. What do you think is going to be?
If both have good windows, I think Liverpool will have a better season. Okay, if both have equal windows, like they fill what they need, I think Liverpool will have a better season.
What does that window look like? Just give me like a...
I don't know. Like Liverpool signed
give me an idea. Like you definitely have an idea of where they think they need to improve.
Liverpool signed 2 wingers, a midfielder, that's 3, right? And a right back, a center back. So 6 players.
6 players.
Man United signed 3 midfielders, left winger.
You think Liverpool only need one midfielder? That's interesting.
Yes, currently as it stands, Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, Florian Wirtz, and 1 extra midfielder. That's all they need. In my 6 midfielders, you should go in the next season. Good. That's what I think. There is a big problem at Liverpool that no one is contemplating at Liverpool. And no one talks about.
What is that?
And I haven't spoken about this yet. That they have their second main attacker is injured until January. So basically, you're starting next season gambling on Isak staying fit. If Isak doesn't stay fit and is injured, you're fucked. You're literally fucked. Gakpo and what's his name on the right side are okay. You need a right winger and maybe you need 2 wingers. You can live with 1 winger. You can live with Frimpong winger. However, you need a right back. You need a right back to start. Liverpool relies so much on Isak staying fit. If Isak doesn't stay fit, you basically have 5 months of the season where you're struggling.
I mean, he won't stay fit. We know that. He always gets injured.
You're having a very hard time. Guys, can I say something? We have 600 votes and only 300 likes. Hit that like button, people. 600 votes and not 300. Come on, get the likes up, people. Come on. 600 votes is crazy, actually.
What's the poll about?
Which of these summer moves will be the bigger game changers? Rafael Leao to Man United, Morgan Rogers to Arsenal, Iraola to Liverpool, Alonso to Chelsea, Maresca to City.
What did the people vote? Let me vote. What should I vote? I'm gonna say Alonso to Chelsea. 44% Arsenal. Morgan Rogers to Arsenal. I can tell what the majority of the chat is today.
Yeah, they are happy, of course. They won the league. There is a parade. Even if Man City
about the Liverpool United.
Ask Daddy Klopp about Martinelli. It's 2020, bro.
I can't believe how many super chats we got over Martinelli today.
But Marco, it's 2026. That was 22, 23. That's about it. It's 3 years later, Marco. Genuinely. My point is nothing to do with Arsenal. If Man City beat Everton, it won't make any difference. Fair enough. But I think that the reason why they lost is also it's an accumulative thing. They drew to Everton and they know that Arsenal will win their games. But a lot of people didn't rate Arteta, but I don't want to go back to Arsenal because it's a whole summer to talk about Arsenal and Arteta and all this stuff. Why everyone is discounting? And by the way, where are City fans in the chat? Why is everyone forgotten about Manchester City? Forgotten about in all the everyone is forgotten about City. Everyone. No one talking about City. No one is talking about their chances. No one's talking about next season for City. No one's talking about City being there. Everyone is talking about United, Liverpool, Arsenal. No one's talking about City. Do people not trust Arteta, Maresca?
What about Maresca?
Do people trust Maresca?
I feel like a lot of what happened with City was...
Staffy, everyone stopped talking about Manchester City.
You know why?
No one's talking about them next season. No one's talking about them as the title winners. No one's talking to them about... They're saying, yeah, City will be there. The squad is good, blah, blah, blah. It's okay, you know what I mean? But no one is talking about them as being one of the title contenders.
I'll tell you why. They were a topic because a lot of people didn't want Arsenal to win the league. That made them the default option, which is, okay, I don't want Arsenal to win the league, then I must want City to win the league. If you noticed, a lot of the backing City was getting was from Arsenal rivals. But now that that's done, there's no reason to talk about City. And this is why a lot of people always say we don't care for City, because like they just don't have a lot of fans like that. So no one cares to talk about. Like no one, we're having more conversations about Iraola, who's been linked with Liverpool since yesterday, than we've had about Maresca, and we've known about Maresca for weeks now. What does that tell you?
Do you think that City are going to be there and thereabout next season?
We already spoke about this on your last show.
Did we?
I think they'll be there. Yeah. I said I think they'll be there, but I have to predict a drop-off. Because if I don't, then I'm just dismissing the impact of Pep. If I just predict that they're gonna go and win the league, then that just means.
But you guys, but didn't we talk about the effect of a transfer window for Man United and Liverpool, regardless of the manager? And we know that the manager is good enough, unless we don't rate the squad to the point that we think the drop off will be massive, that they won't be able to title contenders.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
But I know you understand what I said.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. What's his name is leaving? Bernardo Silva's leaving. He's confirmed.
Yes.
There was one more. Who's the other player? That's it. John Stones. I mean, he's barely.
Yeah, but he has no effect.
Yeah, he's barely had any effect on it. Yeah, Tuchel still picked him somehow. But two of the old guards are leaving. Obviously, Bernardo has a bigger impact, and I think Rodri's a big question mark. What's gonna happen with Rodri? Does he get moved on, or does he stay? Because they also need to rebuild. My mic is not picking up. Sorry, guys. Because sometimes I speak away from them.
when you do this,
yeah, because my gain is very low. Yeah, so my apologies. I think a lot of it is going to be reliant now on what happens with Rodri as well. Savinho going is irrelevant to whoever said in chat. Savinho's garbage. Another team that honestly, I think they're in fully in rebuild mode now. Mo, I'll be honest.
City.
Like, I think they're fully in rebuild mode now. I know last year was supposed to be a transitional season for them, or this season, I should say. But I think a lot is going to change still. And I don't know how Maresca is going to set up as well, because we've seen how we set up at Chelsea. But his football is a lot different than what Pep does as well. It's a lot of three defenders, as an example, inverted fullbacks, isolated wingers. But they're in full rebuild mode, in my opinion. I don't think they'll drop off as much, because I just think they plan things ahead very well. They're a respectable, forget the 115. They're a respectable footballing institution. They've been getting the majority of decisions right for over a decade now. So we have to give them that. But I think it's a full rebuild year. Does that mean they're not a top 4 team? I don't know. But they'll be around that area. But yeah.
Do you think they'll be around the likes of Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea?
Yeah, of course. As of right now, that's because I think they're also going to recruit well, Mo. And they're one of the best teams when it comes to recruiting. They don't even have to sign just big names to do well. I have to give them that benefit, bro. Like we'd be disingenuous if we don't say that.
It's a very
Fonzie,
good
wallahi, Fonzie, I want you to understand. Not every time I compliment someone, it means I'm a whatever sexual.
He's joking. You know this guy.
I know he is, but wallahi, I'm not a City sexual for saying that City recruit well.
Let's rank the top 5 managers based on CVs. My rank is Arteta, Alonso, Maresca, Iraola, Carrick.
I think that's fair. I think Arteta has.
Why is Maresca ahead of Iraola? Is that because he won the Club World Cup and the Conference League?
I think he's done well with Chelsea. Okay. I don't know. As we said, we don't know what Iraola is going to do with more quality. It's no guarantees, by the way. People like David Moyes and what's his name, Unai Emery, are the biggest proof that just because you get a bigger club and bigger players, it doesn't translate to more success. There's literally managers that are designed to have underperforming teams overachieve, and there's managers that come into big teams and they know how to do with it. Unai Emery is the biggest proof.
Guys, it was very obvious that we're talking about the top 5 teams, not the top 5 managers in the league. We're talking about the top 5 teams.
As a respect, please. Like I respect Unai Emery, but let's.
I'm not gonna see him talk about Aston Villa, bro.
Let's stop this. Cause you know what's funny, Mo? For years, I've argued this. Every time people said who's the top managers in the league, they'd always say Pep, and then it would say Unai, and then they'd say Arteta. And I would always say no, it's Pep, then Arteta, then Unai, and they always say, but what has Arteta won? Khalas, guys. Now it's finally confirmed. Since you want confirmation bias. Arteta won the league. Now I can finally put him in second, right? Khalas, yalla. I mean, technically now he's first since Pep left. So now Arteta's ahead of Unai Emery. Let's stop putting Unai Emery in these conversations because he doesn't manage a big club. I respect Unai Emery, but he's a B+ manager who will never be an A.
You know what, Jenny, you're spot on. Because Liverpool fans always talk about people will be Carrick out if he doesn't work. If Liverpool in the first 10 games lose 5 games, people will be saying Raul out. Why some Liverpool
not the match
fans,
going fans. The match going fans are cooks.
Why do people say that Man United fans will be Carrick out? Okay, So
People,
why
you
are
know what people tell me,
that,
Mo? I actually didn't tell you this.
Why people assuming that Iraola will do? If Iraola starts bad and it's not looking good in the beginning, why is it? Where's
Do you know
the
what I get?
guarantee
Let me
that
tell you what
Iraola
I get.
starts well, like.
I backed Carrick signing because I said I don't think the market out there for managers is that great for me to take a gamble. And I was like, I'm okay with keeping Carrick if that's what the club is gonna do. So when they hired him, I said, you know what, congrats, Carrick. You know what everyone said to me? You want him sacked by December, which, by the way, completely disapproves my their narrative that I just want managers sacked. Because the minute I back a manager, they say I'm gonna want him sacked. But when I want a manager sacked, they said, oh, you just want to be negative.
But it's the excitement of slot sacking.
Yeah, they're on elite copium. Why can't someone be manager in right now, and also later on, it could be correct that they want that manager out.
Yeah, that's
what if Iraola comes in and he loses?
It has to be. The conversation has to be like polar extremes.
I'll give you a scenario. I'll give you a scenario, Mo. Iraola comes in, he's hired. Sam is happy. I'm gonna use him as an example. Oh, welcome, Iraola. Iraola this, Iraola that. He does a little bit of like shameless shit to back his manager. And fine, every Liverpool should. Let's just say the first 10 games are the worst 10 games you've ever watched in your life. And then Hassan says, you know what? Iraola out. Am I supposed to say, nope? In the summer, you were happy you signed him.
That's
why are you saying Iraola out now?
That's why people want you to discuss football nowadays. People want you to say, if you're Carrick in, you have to say Carrick in even if Man United lose 20 games in a row. You backed Carrick. Same as Arteta, for example.
I backed Amarim and I backed Ten Hag, and people don't remember that. They're like, oh, you just want the managers gone. How about the years that I was the time I was supporting them? It's like I can't be objective about what I'm seeing. No, let me just back him because that was my initial statement.
Slot out, slot in, slot out. I'm slot out, and then he saw Liverpool winning, and he saw Gravenberch playing well, McAllister playing well, Salah playing well. He's like, slot in. Oh, this guy looks good. And then he completely lost his head on his slot, and it's slot out. Very logical, by the way. That's how logical it should be, right?
But do you want to know? Okay, so this just proves how hypocritical football fans are, and I'll give you a very good example. People cook Don for what? Because Don 2 years ago said what? We have a better squad than Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
So they keep cooking him. Remember 2 years ago you said this. Remember 2 years ago you said that. That was 2 years ago. If he came online today and stayed with that same logic, they would call him stupid. You're stupid. What the delusional? When it comes to managers, if I was manager in and then the manager ends up being shit after a while and I can objectively tell that he's shit and I change my opinion. Oh, but you backed him. So you don't like it when people like Don say things and stay on their opinions. And you also don't like it when other fans say stuff and objectively change their opinion. It just proves that no one wins. Like no matter what you do, if you stay wrong or strong, or if you change your opinion, either way, you're going to get cooked. So just might as well stick to your principles because either way, you'll get cooked.
Yeah. For Chelsea, like Chelsea is the biggest unknown, but I actually think that they're going to do well.
I think they're going to have a good season. I really do.
I think they're going to have a good season. 1 game a week. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be easy for him to plan. And I actually think they're going to have a good season.
You think they've learned their lesson, Mo? You think they learned their lesson? The board.
I will see from the signing.
No, I'm not saying there's enough to tell, but what do you think? Like, honestly, like, there's no right or wrong answer.
They did. I think they did.
Yeah? How so?
I think hiring Xabi Alonso means that they learn.
Why? Because like he's a big name manager, or
because he's a big name, he's gonna have power. David Ornstein already said that, and Scott Carrick, whatever his name is, he said that he's gonna be a manager, not a coach. He's gonna have a say in transfers. He's gonna have a certain budget that they told him. Blah blah blah. So that by itself means you learn from your mistake. You're not stubborn. That means you learn from your mistake.
That's fair.
That's it. It's literally that. And by the way, a lot of people are saying, yeah, Chelsea are going to be shit anyway. Okay, I know that people rate some of the Chelsea players. They just hate to say this, right?
I think I think rarely teams have the same season again anyways. Just because United finished 15th and then finished 3rd. Liverpool finished 1st and then finished 6th. Chelsea finished, 4th and then finished 10th. It literally proves to you that
can I tell you something?
Season...
I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea finished third next season. I wouldn't be surprised.
Also, depending on recruitment. That's why
Yeah.
it's getting boring because I'm giving you the same answer, but it's the logical thing.
No, but I'm assuming that Chelsea are going to have a decent window, United are going to have a decent window, Liverpool are going to have a decent window. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea finished third. You know, everyone laughed. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something. Everyone laughed when some Man United fans said, if we change the manager, we'll get top 4 comfortably. Man United finished third. Not top 5 comfortably, not 5th. Finished third.
I said we compete. I didn't say we'd finish comfortably, but I said we compete, and we overachieved that.
Man United finished third, right? So for me, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea, and people misunderstand the word I wouldn't be surprised. It's not a massive surprise if Chelsea finished third next season. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if Alonso doesn't work at all. But logically speaking, Chelsea did the right thing. Chelsea did what they can do, which is hire the good name manager, right? That's what you can do. Because you aren't a fortune teller, right? What you can do is do the right job. Like, for example, Liverpool second on his slot, that's the right thing to do. Hiring Iraola is the right thing to do. Giving him a good window is the right thing to do. No one is a fortune teller, but we can, from all
you can judge by the evidence given to you. It's called an educated guess. The educated guess does tell you. Yeah.
There's a difference between me sitting here and saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea win the league next season. That's called delusion. Right? That is called delusion.
There's no evidence to suggest that. I agree.
And even if, by the way, anyone that picks, in my opinion, anyone that picks currently with the managers that are there, with how Arsenal are, anyone that picks a team other than Arsenal or even City to win the league next season, it's a shot in the dark. You're shooting in the dark, hoping for the best, hoping that you say, I'm a genius. I said United will win the league. No, there is no educated guess in anybody to win the league other than Arsenal and City next season.
City? You said City to win the league?
Even Arsenal and City. Arsenal heavily favorite, City second.
I swear that wasn't your tone last time we spoke.
No, I said Arsenal and City.
You expect a big regression.
Yes, but
what made you change your opinion?
No. There is if Rodri stays, if they keep Diaz, they get Elliot Anderson, they get a good window, and if Arsenal doesn't improve, there is a possibility that someone from City, Haaland, have that great season and City win it. I think the only two educated guess, in my opinion, is to say Arsenal are favorites. That's my opinion. You can have a different opinion in the chat. In my opinion, and I'm saying Arsenal have a good window, City have a good window as well. Arsenal heavily favorites. Second favorites for me are Manchester City.
Yeah, I don't know if I can agree with that. I don't think I'm not going to put City.
Sorry, saying Arsenal are by themselves?
For now, yeah.
Okay. That also I will be on board with this. I wouldn't be against it 100%. And I understand if someone says what you say, I will totally understand it because of Maresca.
City were the way they especially ended the league. I think City were closer to United than they were to Arsenal. And I think with them losing Pep, what's his name? Silva. No, losing Pep and Silva, that further pushes them down than pushes them up. Now Maresca coming in, as I said, with the summer, I think they moved down more than they moved up. They moved closer to United, Liverpool, and whoever you want to put in the top 4 race than they did move to Arsenal. And I think it's easier. The margin of improvement for Arsenal is much higher than the margin of regressing. I don't think Arsenal will regress next season. I think obviously based on the summer, but I think their margin of getting better, that's the more likely. Whereas City right now, I think the margin of getting worse is more likely. That's why I can't put them in that. I genuinely can't. But they could probably be wrong. I'm just going with the evidence as of today.
I still think that if they keep Rodri, if they keep the core Rodri, Haaland, and they add players, I think there is a world. Okay, let me just tell you something. I wouldn't be heavily surprised if they win the league next season. I wouldn't.
That's fair. I don't see it, but that's fair.
Let me do this super so we can get out of here. Because Man City heritage equal Pep Guardiola, it's not the same with United, Liverpool, or Arsenal. Well, United heritage is Alex Ferguson. United haven't challenged
Man City heritage. What does that mean?
Because of Guardiola. What? He's talking about people that don't talk about
he's
City.
saying the
Why?
heritage it means Pep Guardiola.
Fairs. But
We
I
have
think
more
Man
heritage than
United.
Sir Alex. Respect us, man. Don't dismiss Sir Matt Busby. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're not gonna do that with me. You're not gonna dismiss the Busby babes. You're not gonna dismiss our first champions. We had 3 Ballon d'Or winners in like the late 50s and 60s, Mo. What are you doing here? Playing on the same team.
It didn't make you a big club, did it?
Of course it did. United in the 60s wasn't a big club.
Okay.
In the 60s.
You were a big club in England and in Europe, yes.
Yeah, we're a powerhouse in the 60s, of course. Do I need to give you a history lesson?
No, I don't. Bro, I have touchline. It's enough, bro. Terry and touchline.
Touchline is like 10 years old. What history lesson has he given you?
What history lesson you're going to give me about the 50s? It doesn't matter if you're 40 even. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like he's so much younger than me. Like how much education has he consumed at his young age?
Before Alex Ferguson, you had less league titles than Arsenal, than Everton.
Yeah, but like Arsenal at some point had the most leagues in the fucking country. What does that mean? Liverpool had European heritage until the 80s.
Yeah, you had less league titles than Liverpool. So anyway.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you're in a big club. The thing about Liverpool and United is they never became, they were never two big clubs at the same time. It's like when they went through their shit, United were good. And then when we went through our shit, Liverpool were good. And then when we got Sir Alex and we became good, they became shit. And then when Sir Alex left and we became shit, they got club and became good. World War II hoops. No, Cam, I'm not even joking. Like I watched the whole documentary on it and someone explained it very well. Like they had their Shankly and what's the other manager? Oh my God. One of the Liverpool fans is going to let me know. Shankly and who in the 80s?
Paisley.
Yeah, and Paisley. That was their era as well. And they went through the 80s and they were a monstrous club. And we fell behind. And then that ended and the 90s came and then we became a monstrous club again. And then they fell below. So it's like we never really overlapped as clubs being good at the same time. Like United good, then shit. And during the shit, Liverpool good. And then United good, then Liverpool shit. Then Liverpool good, United shit.
Mo, put Staffy full screen, please, and have him repeat. Arteta's the best manager in the Premier League right now. A bit of fun. Don't take it seriously, Staffy. But he said it. Like, I don't need to put him full screen.
I don't need to see on big screen. You could just zoom in, bro.
Zoom in and do you know do crop in the video?
Yeah, he's the best manager in the league right now. Wallahi, I'm telling you, bro, people forget. Go back to a year ago. It was me and Mo and Saad, and I can't remember who else. I was literally trying to convince Saad why he should be Arteta in. That was a reality. That's a true video that exists. I promise you, go to like a year ago or more. And I'm saying, Saad, this season, I know he didn't win, but Arteta has earned one more season. That exists. That's a video of me trying to convince someone to be Arteta in. I know you look at Saad. Saad is the most Arteta sexual I've ever seen. A year ago, he wasn't.
Fair enough. Listen. What a great video. What a great live. I hope that you guys enjoyed the live show. We reached 340 likes. We need to get to 400 likes. We're finishing here. I'm ending the show.
You know what? Round of applause to everyone in the chat, man.
Wallahi, that was a very good... I hope you all enjoyed the show. It was one of the best shows I've done for a while. Objective talk. Great conversations. Thank you for everyone supporting the channel. Staffy TV is there. Of course, Monday evenings, you know the drill. Go to Staffy TV.
I will be live tomorrow. I'm going to figure out what kind of content I'm trying to do in the summer. But I will be live tomorrow, American Waffle, basically season finale. And we'll figure out what we want to do in the summer. Probably more 1v1s, one-on-ones, I should say. I'll probably have you on my channel sometimes. So.
Yeah. Once I go back home, and also I'm gonna try to do solo shows as well. But listen, great show, guys. Hit that like button, guys, before you go. I'll see you guys soon. This will take you to Hussam. He's talking about Konati. They're crying about Konati, but he's happy that Iraola is there. We'll see you guys there, and we're out.
Can you comment Iraola copium? Just comment that when you get there. Just comment Iraola copium. That's your redirect.